Does the Frisco real estate market just kind of feel off to you right now? If so, know that you're not alone. I've been talking to quite a lot of buyers and sellers recently, and they've all said the same thing. Something just feels different. And it is, but is that necessarily a bad thing? So inventory is definitely up. So there's more homes for sale now than we've seen in the last few years. Buyer activity, for considering we're in the height of the spring season, is actually down. And there's a lot of people out there wondering, just, is the market stuck? But here's the thing, the surprising thing, home prices are holding steady. They're not falling. Homes are still selling. Multiple offers still exist in certain circumstances. And the opportunities, well, they're still out there, and there's actually more of them than there have been in years. So in this video, what I'm going to do is break it all down for you. We're going to look at the actual data on what's going on right here in Frisco. I'm going to show you the current demand levels. We're going to look at how many homes are seeing price cuts, what's going on with days on market, and pricing. And if you're in the market for a new construction home, I'm going to invite you to stick around till the end, as I'm going to share with you some of the incentives that the new home builders are offering in order to keep sales moving. So if you're thinking about making a move this year, whether it's buying or selling, then this video is going to give you a clear picture on exactly where things stand now and what you should expect in the months ahead. Let's dive in. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty here in Frisco, Texas, with my sleeping assistant Bailey right there behind me, taking her midday nap as I'm recording this. You know, as mentioned, does the market feel different? Yeah, it does. It feels different to all of us, whether you're actively involved in the market every day or you're not. Things are different. A lot of it comes down to perception. Compared to the market we have been in or what we've experienced over the past few years, it is definitely different now. But that's not necessarily bad. What I mean by that, if you're a buyer, you have more choice right now than you've had in a long time. You don't have to make a decision instantaneously. Although saying that, the best homes in the best neighborhoods, in the best condition, that are priced well, are actually still receiving multiple offers in some cases. So it's kind of a market that's mixed signals, if you like. While some neighborhoods and markets are not moving very quickly at all, others are. So I'm going to demonstrate all of that for you and explain exactly what this all means if you're planning on buying or selling. Now, I know that charts and graphs aren't the most exciting thing, and some people will just skip right through. Others are going to watch every single minute, and that's fine. But if you've got a specific situation and you want more information, go ahead and reach out. You can call or text the number that's up on your screen. And please know that I offer everyone a free 30-minute consultation to kind of go over what your specific situation is and answer the questions that you have. I'm not going to tell you it's a great time to buy or sell if it's not a great time for you to buy or sell. Just honest information, interpreting what's going on in the market so that you can make the best decision for you. So with that in mind, so this doesn't go on forever, let's jump into the first of those charts and graphs. This is from my weekly market report, and we're looking specifically at the Frisco market right now. But as you may know, this information is available for any city or zip code in the entire country. So if Frisco is not the area you're interested in, you can find this data for anywhere, including McKinney, Prosper, Salina, Little Elm, Plano, you name it. Now, this first chart that we're looking at is not one I show very often. This is what's known as the Market Action Index. So what exactly is the Market Action Index? Well, what this is it kind of shows the relationship between supply and demand. It kind of shows how strong a market is, how much demand there is in a market. So the closer this number gets to 100, the hotter the market is. Meaning that's, as you can see here, we were running right at 100 or just above in 2021 and the beginning of 2022. You remember what that market was? Multiple offers on a property, bidding way over asking price, homes selling within hours. That was a scorching hot market. And that's what we experienced until May, June of 2022. What happened? Mortgage rates took their first big jump and the market plummeted. Buyers pulled back, nothing happened whatsoever, and things just ground to a halt. But if you look at it since then, we got back up into, 2023, and then it's kind of dropped off. So here's where we are right now. We're actually sitting at a reading of 36. So what does that mean? Well, anything above 30 favors a seller. Anything below 30 favors a buyer. So as you can see here, we haven't dropped below 30, but you can see that we're holding steady. The market is actually just starting to show a little bit of additional strength. But what this basically means is our market, for the first time in a long time, is showing balance. It's not really heavily favoring sellers, and it's not really against buyers. There's just a lot of balance in the market. So that feeling that you get that something is just off, it's not really off. It's just more balanced. The market has shifted. Now, if we go next, we're going to look at overall inventory and supply. Why does it feel like every other home is for sale? Well, we haven't seen this much inventory in a long time. So this is going all the way back into 2020, April of 2020. And you can see in April of 2020, the high point of inventory is right about where the low point has been recently. So our current low was the high about 5 years ago. And you can see right here the way that dotted line is swinging up on the far right side of this graph. It's doing that because there's more homes coming on the market. So inventory continues to build, especially in new construction. The builders have more new finished inventory now than they've had in years, which can represent a phenomenal opportunity if you're interested in new construction from a buying standpoint. But with this jump in inventory, what does that mean if you're a seller? Well, it means you've got more competition. It means that you're not just going to be able to put an inferior product out there at a high price and have people rushing to make an offer on your home. The market is definitely more price sensitive. And since buyers don't have to necessarily jump immediately, they're very value driven. They're looking for the best overall value. So it's very important how you position yourself and how your home shows in the market currently. All right, now going back here, we're going to look at properties with a price decrease. And again, if you've seen any of the recent videos I've done, you'll know this is one of the metrics I love to watch pretty closely. Why? Well, it kind of tells us what sellers are seeing. If you think about it, if a seller puts a home on the market and it's not getting offers after 30, 45 days, then depending upon the situation, they are going to have to start looking at lowering the price. Okay, how much of a price reduction depends on several different circumstances, but if you're in an environment where sellers are having to cut price often before a property goes under contract, that's a demonstration that illustrates weakness in the overall market, weakness in demand. But look here, since October, the number of price reductions taking place continues to fall. Right? So again, the solid line's the 90-day trend, and then the dashed line is the 7-day trend. So we are now down on the 7-day trend to 42%. Is that higher than we were back in the frenzy time? Absolutely. but it's not as high as we were back, right when the market took that turn and mortgage rates jumped in 2022. So, but it's falling. That falling is showing increasing demand in the market. So again, there's definitely buyer activity out there. And then last up on this, if we go, let's take a look at days on market and price. This is the other thing. If I look at average days on market, it climbed and it's actually been falling for the last couple of weeks. So again, fewer price reductions and days on market is going down. That's an indication of strength in the marketplace from a buyer's perspective. So if you're considering selling, now is not necessarily a bad time. You haven't missed the window and buyer activity is definitely out there. You just have to understand what's going on in your particular neighborhood, because what's going on in your neighborhood could be different than a neighborhood on the other side of Frisco or the neighborhood right next to you. It's really important that you understand exactly what's going on in your market. And then lastly, pricing. The market's not in a free fall by any means. Prices aren't running up like they were, which is good news for buyers. And for sellers, hanging on hasn't really cost you anything. So, but saying that, we're not seeing the typical surge that we see in the beginning of spring. So let's look at this. Back in 2021, here's the run up. So this is when prices were going crazy and we saw things going absolutely ballistic. Here's 2023. Again, as we hit the spring market, look at the way pricing goes up. Pricing here in Frisco usually peaks in about June. And you can see here, this was running up. Then you go back to last year, 2024. Look at the run up in price that took place from the beginning of the year up until May, June. But look at this year. Here's December, here's January. That curve up isn't really a curve up. It's pretty flat. So while prices are not falling, they're not really increasing rapidly either. We've got some balance in the marketplace. All right, so that's the important thing to keep in mind. So what exactly does all of that mean if you are considering buying or selling a home? And I haven't got the new construction deals. I'm getting to those in just 1 second. Well, from a buyer's perspective, as mentioned, you've got more choice now than you've had in many, many years. So it means that you're going to be able to negotiate a little bit more. We're still not seeing homes sell at a big price reduction or a big discount from list. As mentioned, we are still selling, and I've experienced it myself, homes selling over asking price with multiple offers. That does still exist on certain properties. But it's understanding that you do have more choice. You're also going to find from a buyer's perspective, the sellers are going to be a little bit more negotiable. You may be able to get some money back towards closing costs or maybe a mortgage rate buy down. And you're not going to be under the gun in order to have to make a decision instantly. You've definitely got more choice. From a seller's perspective, it's important to know that if from that data, homes are still selling, right? They're not going to sell overnight in many cases. Days on market are longer than they have been in years past, even though they are coming down, but they are still selling. You just can't put anything out there. You got to make sure the home looks good. You got to make sure that the yard is kept up. If you've got some repairs that you should have been making, you're going to have to make them before you put the property on the market. And when you do get an offer, expect that there's going to be a repair request that comes in, and expect that you're going to have to do those. Okay, all of that is more of a normal real estate market that we haven't seen in quite a few years. And if you'd like help with any of that, as mentioned, go ahead and call or text the number that's up on your screen. And feel free, go ahead and scan this QR code right here and schedule a call with me. Schedule that free 30-minute consultation and let's go over your specific situation, answer the questions that you have, and I will be more than happy to share the information that's going on in your specific neighborhood and hopefully give you what you need in order to make the best decision for you. Now, with regard to that new construction, there's some incredible deals out there. Let me show you. Now, as many of you know, one of the things about new construction I love is quick move-in homes. And the reason I love quick move-in homes, and if you don't know, a quick move-in home is a home that is either done in the builder's inventory or it will be done in the next couple of months. Builders want those sold. They want those under contract. They don't like sitting on finished inventory. So those homes, if you're a buyer, represent the absolute best opportunity. I know for a fact that I can get some pretty substantial price reductions for you on quick move-in homes in all of the communities. I don't care if you're talking Fields, I don't care if you're talking Lexington, I don't care if you're talking, Windsong Ranch up in Prosper, anywhere. Those exist on quick move-in homes. But the other thing that the builders are doing is they're attacking the mortgage rate, because mortgage rates make a huge difference. So right here, this is Highland Homes. And as you can see from the Highland website, what they're doing is they're going and they're offering a 4.99% mortgage rate in year one, and then a 5.49% fixed rate for years 2 through 30. When you consider the rates now are over 6.5, they're right about 6 3/4 as of this recording, which although lower than last year, they're not the rates of 3 and 4%, which we're not going back to, by the way. So right here, if you can get a rate that's going to be fixed at 5.49 for the life of the loan, you're going to be in great shape. Highland are one of the builders that are doing this. So are Shaddock Homes. So Shaddock Homes right here, they are looking at a buy down. So they're doing the exact same thing. They're at 4.49% for the first year, and they're going to 5.49% fixed for years 2 through 30. Now Shaddock initially were not doing this on every single home. They're restricting this to quick move-in homes, homes that they want to move. Highland right now are going to do it on all homes, even if you pick a lot and you're building. Now, if you'd like additional information on either of those, don't hesitate to reach out. And then last but not least here, we have Toll Brothers. And you can see a pattern here. Toll Brothers are just slightly higher, but they're offering a 4.99% rate in year one. And then in years 2 through 30, they are at a 5.99% fixed rate mortgage. Now, one of the things to point out about those fixed rate mortgages is even though the initial rate is 4.49 or 4.99, you are going to have to qualify at the higher rate. So the 5.49 in the case of Shaddock and Highland, and the 5.99 in the case of Toll Brothers. But that's a lot easier to do compared to the 6.75 or 6.8% rate that is the going rate in the market right now. That increases your affordability quite a bit. A 1% reduction in the mortgage rate increases your purchasing power by approximately 10%. So if you're looking at a resale home or you're looking at a builder that doesn't offer those, understand that your purchasing power is actually higher at one of the builders that are offering that rate reduction. So hopefully this information has helped you today kind of dive into what's actually going on in the local market here. If you have any questions whatsoever, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Call or text that number that is up on the screen. And if you'd like additional information or a specific situation you want to discuss in more detail, then give me a call. Go ahead, scan the QR code right here, and let's set a time up. That's going to take you directly to my calendar. Set a time up. Let's talk it through and your situation, and I'll be more than willing to share additional information with you so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. And again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I put out new videos like this each and every week to keep you updated on what's going on in our local market. Now don't go anywhere because I know you're going to enjoy this video coming up next.